Look at the Tokyo skyline, and you see a society living in the future. A neon-drenched landscape built on robotics, automated convenience, and hyper-efficiency. This is the country that engineered the bullet train, invented QR codes, and put the Sony Walkman into the hands of millions. But if you step out of that futuristic cityscape and walk into a family-owned ramen shop or a local department store, you hit a very analog wall. To survive daily life here, you have to carry paper money. This chart shows the estimated percentage of physical cash transactions across different nations. While countries like Sweden have pushed their cash usage down to about 15%, and the US sits around 30%, Japan stubbornly hovers between 60 and 80%. When a society capable of engineering the future insists on counting coins, it begs a question. Are they failing to adapt or making a highly calculated choice? Following the devastation of World War II, Japan rebuilt itself into the world's second-largest economy. That rapid growth was anchored by a specific national priority, aggressive savings rather than borrowing. Through the 1950s and 60s, as credit cards started filling American wallets, Japan established bank branches in nearly every neighborhood. The government actively pushed programs like the National Postal Banking System, rewarding citizens who walked in and handed over physical yen to a banker they knew personally. That localized stability fractured in the early 1990s. The massive asset price bubble burst, plunging the country into a period of severe economic stagnation known as the Lost Decade. Corporate bankruptcy spiked, and financial institutions that citizens had relied on for generations suddenly looked vulnerable. For the people living through that crash, wealth stored as a digital number on a bank screen felt precarious. Tangible paper, held in your own hands, became the only form of wealth you could absolutely verify. After witnessing their institutional wealth evaporate, an entire generation learned that physical paper is a necessary strategy for absolute financial preservation. Today, that psychological drive is backed up by cold mathematics. For decades, the Bank of Japan has maintained unusual macroeconomic policies to force domestic spending. Look at this line graph of the central bank's interest rates. In 2016, the rate officially drops into negative territory. Because banks are penalized for holding reserves, costs eat into your savings balance. But mattress cash yields a guaranteed 0%, mathematically better than negative. Because of this incentive structure, the average Japanese household holds roughly $30,000 in physical cash, hidden in home safes or literal mattresses. Hoarding that much paper money is a massive liability almost anywhere else. Here, it works entirely because of the country's exceptionally low street crime. In 2019 alone, citizens of Tokyo found and returned over $32 million in lost physical cash to the authorities. When your bank balance is slowly shrinking and your physical environment is highly secure, keeping stacks of yen in your closet is the most rational financial strategy available. Beyond the math, cash offers total discretion. It leaves zero digital footprint, ensuring no corporate database is scraping your purchase history to serve targeted ads. It also plays a vital role in local customs. For major life events like graduations or weddings, giving a gift of crisp, unblemished bills presented in special decorative envelopes is a strict social requirement. Bank tellers are specifically trained to provide these fresh notes. The amount gifted at a wedding usually ends in an odd number. Even numbers can be divided equally, carrying a superstition of dividing the couple. Compare the elegance of those traditions to the current digital landscape. Japan has over 20 different cashless payment systems competing for market share, requiring merchants and buyers to juggle a confusing array of incompatible apps and QR codes. Nearly 30% of Japanese citizens are over the age of 65. For this demographic, navigating the tiny text, trying to remember passwords, and worrying about app security introduces immense difficulty into a simple grocery run. Forcing a fragmented tech ecosystem onto an aging population introduces severe barriers to an economy that already serves their daily needs perfectly. Still, the landscape is shifting. When 40 million foreign tourists arrive annually looking to tap their cards, and a global pandemic raises concerns about the hygiene of handling coins, urban businesses are forced to adapt. Younger generations are demanding a smoother experience, pushing the government to establish standardized codes like JPQR that unify multiple payment services into a single scan. The Bank of Japan is also actively developing a central bank digital currency as a modern alternative to the physical yen. Yet officials stress that this digital currency will act as a complement to paper money, not a replacement. Policymakers are making sure that rural communities and elderly citizens aren't suddenly locked out of the economy by a forced tech mandate. True progress doesn't require bulldozing the past. Japan's relationship with its currency shows how a highly advanced society can selectively integrate new technologies, optimizing for the future while actively protecting the traditions that keep its people secure.